Good evening. Okay, good evening. So, today I'm going to talk about global warming. What has Christianity got to do with it? So, very recently, there's been a lot of news about environmental concerns. So, some of my initial thoughts over it are one of those government things that's happening, not important to my life. Or, wow, cool, something that's good to have, but, it's not my thing. So, just want to highlight about some of these news about sustainability in case you are out of the loop. So, for the first one, it's about a girl called Greta Turner. She recently made headlines a few months back for her outspoken views on sustainability. So in a bid to be environmentally friendly, she avoids air flights because of carbon emissions. Just want to distract a bit to explain the term carbon emissions. Carbon emissions is a big word, but essentially it means the carbon dioxide being produced for those who are not familiar with environmental terms. So back to Greta. So what does avoiding air flights means? It means that there was this one time when she traveled from New York to England. Instead of an 8-hour flight, this girl traveled by boat, powered by solar panels and hydro generators that took her 15 days. So from an 8-hour flight, it became a 15-day travel. So talk about dedication and the amount of annual leave one have to burn if she was a working adult just to go on a holiday. So a little closer to home, NTUC decided to trial charging plastic bags at selected NTUC outlets. And NEA has found a way to turn ashes we burn from our trash into reusable materials like sand. So all this talk about sustainability made me wonder, has Christianity got anything to do with it? Well, if the 3 R's, recycling, reuse, and reduce, is not in the 10 Commandments, that means not important, right? Don't need to do. I can use all the plastic bags I want. But somewhere deep in my mind, that doesn't sound very right. And didn't sit well with me with what I think the Bible would say. So I took a closer look. So the first story that struck to my mind when I tried to think of a verse that could resemble a call or an instruction that links environmentalism to God's words was in Genesis, the story of creation, the story that Uncle Yuan has read for us, the whole of Genesis chapter 1. So in Genesis chapter 2, another verse would be in Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, where the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. So the second verse would be how God asked Adam to work in the Garden of Eden and take care of it. So just like to highlight this keyword here, which is to take care of it. God put man on earth and instructed us to take care of it. And taking care of it would mean not harming the earth. Very simple, plain, easy, and simple to understand. And if you're looking for more evidence, you can look at the numerous passages that talks about how God is the owner and creator of the earth, and how we are merely inhabitants or tenants of this space. So we can see that in Psalms 24, verse 1 to 2. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who live in it. For he founded it on the seas and established it on the waters. So God created the earth, and thus the earth belongs to him. Being allowed to stay here is a gift from him to us, and we should treasure this gift by taking care of it. But wait, didn't God created the earth for us to use, or more specifically, to rule? So that is stated very clearly in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it." And furthermore, didn't it say that when God comes, God will come to destroy the earth at the end of ages? That means you don't have to take care of the earth, right? God's going to destroy it anyways. So some of us can get this idea from 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come like a thief, the heavens will disappear, and the earth and everything done in it will be laid bare. So, just like to point out a few flaws in this argument. So, firstly, yes, God created the earth for us to use. But note, it's for use and not for abuse. Very often, we pervert the gifts God has given to us. For example, the gift of sex with lust, or ambition with pride. Similarly, let us not pervert and abuse the gift of Mother Nature that God has given to us. Secondly, yes, 2 Peter did mention that the earth and everything done in it will be laid bare. It's also probably connected to the Revelations verse where it says there'll be a brand new earth, and what I can assume will come after the old earth is destroyed. So it says, "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth has passed away, and there will be no longer any sea." But even if that's just the case, that doesn't mean we can just destroy the earth right now. If that logic flows, that will also mean that we don't have to take care, if the logic of that we don't have to take care of the old earth because it's going to be destroyed anyways, then we also can say that we don't have to take care of our bodies because we're going to die anyways. But is that true? No. God, however, teaches us the principle of stewardship. Okay, wait, let me check the verses. Okay. Sorry, can you go back? Okay, wait, sorry, I found it. Okay. God, however, teaches us the principles of stewardship. In Luke 16, verse 10, it says, "Whoever can be trusted with little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much." I would think very much that our time on earth here is a test for us, a test if we can handle the little things that God has put us in charge of. Before God puts us in a new body and a new earth, we'll be entrusted with much more. So yes, there will be a new earth, but that does not mean we should not take care of this one. We should in fact take care of it even more to show that we can take care of the new earth that is to come. So in fact, in Revelations, it said that God will destroy those who destroy the earth. This is seen very clearly in Revelations chapter 21, verse 18. So it says, "The nations were angry, and your wrath has come. The time has come for judging the dead, and for rewarding your servants, the prophets, and your people who revered your name, both great and small, and for destroying those who destroy the earth." So I know Revelations are visions from John, visions that John saw, and it's not known if the things said can be taken metaphorically or very literally. But over here, just like to highlight one very interesting fact. So the Greek word for world uses the word GES. So it's the word for the physicality of the planet. So this is used instead of cosmos, which is the word for world in a social/spiritual sense. So it's more likely that the phrase "destroy the earth" from Revelations meant not the murderers or sinners who start wars or contribute to the world's moral decay, but people who contribute to environmental pollution. In any case, even if this is an over-analysis, it's clear that God will be unhappy with those who do not take care of the earth. Thirdly, not taking care of the earth now is actually a very selfish act to do. Being environmental is not just about taking care of the trees and flowers that God has given us. However, it's about the future generations. At this current rate of consumption, if we do not start to reduce, reuse, recycle, there will be not enough land for us to store our trash. So if you all read the news, China has made a ban from receiving trash from Western countries, and all the trash is now going over to Malaysia. And Malaysia has a very huge problem with that right now. Secondly, we run out of raw materials for our children and grandchildren to use. Oil and precious metals are being consumed so quickly because of how fast we change our smartphones or because of our heavy electricity consumption. And thirdly, we'll subject the future generations to erratic weather and sea level changes that will endanger their lives. can already see how the weather can affect us substantially. The haze from Indonesia affects everyone in Singapore annually. Things like breathing difficulties and health issues. And all of it affects our quality of life. And that is just maybe 1 week or a few days. If more is not done, more will happen. It will not be just haze causing us problem. Just a few months back, Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong also projected they will take about 100 billion to protect our country from sinking. So 100 billion or more to protect the Singapore lives of the future. So global warming is more than just a good to have thing or a government thing. It threatens not only our survival, but the core values of Christianity. If we claim to love our neighbor as ourselves, I think this also includes not just the neighbors today, but the neighbors of the future. Every time we carelessly throw away a single-use plastic, it's one tiny step to the survival for our children and grandchildren next time. And after a mass accumulation of steps, it will only result in death. So what can we do? How can we fulfill God's commandment to be good stewards and also exhibit love to the future generations by being environmentally friendly? Well, we don't have to burn all the days of our annual leave to just travel to different countries on boat instead of air flights. However, there are a few ways where we can just start to embrace this lifestyle or ramp up our efforts. So, introducing to you Joel's 4-level guide to being environmentally friendly. So the first level we have is level 1, where we take baby steps. Okay, so I think the font's a bit small. Just read it out. So in this level, we start to slowly adapt this mindset, take note of ways to be more environmental, and of course not stop others when they're pushing for more environmental efforts. So what you do in level 1 is you make conscious effort to not use so many straws, and I won't be one of those people who complain to MP that NTUC now charging plastic bag. So that's level 1. So next is level 2. So from a baby, you upgrade to a student level. In this level, you start to be environmental at an opportunistic level. So you make small efforts such as when you packet your food, you instead of taking the styrofoam box, you use your own Tupperware. When shopping at NTUC, you can bring your own bags. And when your items break down, instead of buying a new one, you can try to repair or reuse old items. Next is level 3, where from a student you become a working adult. In this level, you upgrade from being environmental at an opportunistic level to going out of your way to reduce your carbon footprint on a daily basis. So some examples will be occasionally you actively look for ways to reduce your carbon footprint, occasionally choosing to go vegetarian, purchase from environmentally friendly brands, and maybe cycle to work. And of course, the highest level, I very aptly named it the Greta Turner level. So in this level, you go vegetarian, you never take airplanes, start an environmental protest, and give talks to world leaders and UN. I don't think I'm there yet, even after 20, 30 years. Yeah. So to conclude, I hope I debunked the myth that environmental concerns are considered separate from our Christian beliefs and values. There are commandments and instructions from God to take care of this world. We will be unwise to not follow His instructions. And secondly, I'd like to comment on the practicality of my guide. So the seemingly impossible goal of reaching level 4 is very deliberate. I would like us to know that we can never do enough to be considered fully environmental. The threat of global warming seems so big, and you feel like rejecting a single plastic straw is not going to do much. However, that's just the same thing with being good or being Christian. You can never be fully Christian or good. In essence, we can never be Jesus, only strive to be completely like Him. And what God does is looking at our hearts. And I think if we continue to make efforts to be more environmentally conscious, then would we be good stewards of the gift that God has blessed us with? Thank you.